Hi, it is T with Teaquilts, and today is Wednesday, July 31st, and it is 6:57 p.m. So if you are watching this at any other time, just know that you are watching an upload of a live chat, and the time is in Central Standard Time, 6:57 Central Standard Time. So I'm just going to wait for other people to come on, and then I'm going to also pull this up on my cell phone. Cut my notifications off first. All right, we got some people in here already. They got 11 people really fast. So thank you all so much for coming to join me. I'm up so close, or either my hair is so big that I can't get in. I need to wash my hair really bad, but I've been so busy, haven't had a chance to get around to it. So we're just waiting for more people to come in. I see 2 people have already given me that thumbs up. Thank you so much. And when I do know, like on certain devices, you have different things, because when I pull up on my cell phone, I cannot click the thumbs up button. I don't know why, but there is. I don't know if you can even see it. It's so much light, but there is no thumbs up thing. It just shows me the chat. So very weird. Go back and open this live up. So we're waiting. We've got 20 people in. It's not quite 7 yet. We got a few more seconds. So I'm just waiting for people to come in. I didn't really put out early notice that I was going to be on tonight, but my regulars do know that Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time is chat time. So I'm just waiting on some more people. We haven't quite reached 7 yet. If you want to shout out, go ahead and put it in the chat box. I'll be reading those shortly. So I've got quite a few. Tiffany Gary, it says that I hid you by Teaquilts. I don't know why that's saying that. I must have hit something accidentally. And I don't see any way of unhiding your comments right now. But I do see that you are here. I don't know how that happened. Sometimes when I'm on my phone, I might hit something by accident, and I'm assuming that I must have done it before, because it's not showing that I just recently did it to unhide you. So I don't know why it's doing that, but I'm sorry about that. I have to figure that out. So we're going to go ahead and do the shout outs. It's 7 o'clock. We got Diane from Houston here. Hi, Diane. Welcome to chat. She's also one of the moderators. We've got Bonita Nance here. She says, hi, Miss T and everyone. Hi, Bonita. Bonita, thank you so much. I got your box in the mail today. I'll open that. Vicky Lemire is here. Hi, Vicky. Welcome. I hope you got my message that I sent you through YouTube. Do note that the only way that I can contact you is if you've ever commented on a video. And so then I will go and try to search your name in my comments, and then I can contact you. I think we just had some miscommunications last week, so I'm really sorry that you experienced that. I know you didn't mean any harm. You've been watching my channel for a while, so I know it was just misunderstanding on both parts. So I'm glad you're here and didn't take it personally. So thank you so much, Vicky, for coming back and sticking with me on my channel. Deborah Williams is here. She says, hello, everyone. Deborah here from beautiful, sunny Southern California. June Billings is here, saying, hi, T and everyone. And again, Tiffany is here. Sorry, Tiffany, that your comments are being hidden. I'm so sorry about that. I have to figure out how that happened and why it happened. I don't know. And it does say it was hidden by me, so I must have accidentally done that. LC is here saying, hello to everyone from Southern California. So that's 2 from Southern California. Francine is here saying, hello, everyone. I'm ready for a live chat with you, T. Welcome. Yay. Maria Mayer is here. Says, hello, T and everyone. Debbie Huey here out of St. Louis, Mo is here saying, hi, T. Hi, friend. How are you? Pamela Tabor is here. Says, hello, T and everyone. Hi, Pamela. Cheryl Land is here. Says, hey, T and Quilt family with a heart. Deborah Williams says, me either. I have to wait until the chat is over, then go back and do the thumbs up. So she's having difficulty with when you on certain devices, you cannot hit a thumbs up during the live chat. I know you can on your desktop, but it's very difficult to do, or I don't see it on my cell phone when I'm logging in. Pat Moffitt is here. Says, hi, T. Hi, Pat. Sandra Ingstrand is here. Ingstrand is here. She says, hello from Nashville. Hi, Sandra. Eric Oda, he's come back. He says, poof, I'm here. Hello, everyone. Welcome, Eric. We miss you when you're not here. Debbie says, tomorrow starts her birthday month. So August is her birthday month. And Debbie says, hi, poof. Remo JS says, good evening from Bowie, Maryland. Bonita says that she hopes the boxes and what's in the box is intact. Okay, we'll be opening those up real shortly. Beth Dallas is here. She says, hello, T and everyone. Hi, Beth. Welcome to chat. I'm trying to get through the highs to everybody. We got Darlene Former here. She says, greetings from Northern Virginia. Hi, Darlene. Welcome. Carol Robinson is here. She says, hi, everyone from Chicago. All right, Chicago's in the house. Leetta Bryan is here from St. Louis, Mo. She says, hi, everyone. Hi, Leetta. Welcome, and thanks so much for supporting my channel. She's, her and Debbie are both in my scrap quilting club. Trisha Hera Tilo is here. Says, hi from Southern California. So that's 3 from Southern California. Well, probably 4 with Eric. I'm thinking Eric's in Southern. I don't know. Let's see. Cindy Carancho is here. She says, hi from Massachusetts. Hi, Cindy. Welcome to chat. Don't remember seeing your name before. Rhonda Barlow says, hello, everyone from Savannah. And so, yes, he said he is in Southern California. So 4 people from Southern California area. So welcome to the chat. A quick update on my week. I did come on Sunday and I did like a 20-minute thing on my birthday just to spend some time with you guys too. I appreciate my YouTubers, so I wanted to spend part of my birthday with you. But I've been so busy. I had so much going on. So I'm just going to go from Monday, I guess. Sunday, me and my husband, we cooked dinner together, had some dinner. Of course, my phone would ring while I'm live, but I'm going to ignore it anyway. And so Monday, I went to IKEA. And then because I woke up with some bug up my butt and decided that I wanted to start working on cleaning out my actual sewing studio where my actual sewing machines that I piece on, that I sew on are located. So I went to IKEA to get the stuff that I needed for that. So I got that, and then I came home and I started pulling things out of in the area where I wanted to put the bookcase that I purchased, because the entertainment system that I had in there was very poor storage. So I'm hoping I've got a whole lot of stuff pulled out. Don't know where all of this stuff is going to go. I do know that I'm going to bring my AccuQuilt Go dies or my AccuQuilt Studio dies. My real long ones are always stored in my back area. So I'm going to bring those up to the front because I use those a lot. So I'm going to bring those up, and then I'm going to take some of my works in progress and things and put in the back. So the Monday and today, I have been working on that room. Yesterday was another long day. I actually went and visited a lot of places for retreat centers. So I have seen now 4 places, and all of them have quite a few different rules, so I'll talk about that again when I get into the retreat part of it, of this video. So just keep that in mind. And that was all day yesterday. Some of them we have to do like drives for an hour and a half. So hour. I'm trying not to go any more than an hour out if I can, but sometimes if you want some of the better retreat centers, you got to go a little further. So it just depends. And I still have one more or maybe two more. I have a friend that's supposed to check one for me, a hotel, and then I need to check the Marriott, which I haven't done yet. But I've been checking actual retreat centers, and while I'm happy with some of them, I'm not happy about everything. So that's kind of where I'm stuck as to where to go, and then also trying to figure out the number of people that are going to attend. So we'll talk about that. And so then that's kind of it as far as my week. It's just been busy with birthday stuff, shopping, and retreat centers. So let's see. Make sure. Thank you, Eric. And thanks everybody for the birthday wishes on my Facebook channel, my YouTube channel, and I think somebody even put one on Instagram. I'm not sure. But thank you all so much for the birthday wishes. I really appreciate it. I had a great birthday. I normally celebrate the entire month of July, but I was so busy I didn't have time to celebrate my birthday until my birthday came. So, well, actually the day before my birthday was when I started celebrating. So, yeah, so doing good. Diane is saying, please like, share, and subscribe. Shakita says, hi, Tan, everyone. Hi, Shakita. She's out of Georgia. And we're going to go ahead and get started. I can't remember what my agenda is. Birthday stuff. I have such a short attention span when I got a lot of stuff to do. So last time I showed you a block from Tracy Ruth, and I was looking for her ladder, and I didn't see it in the package. I did all kind of hand searching in, and my hand kept missing it every time. So I showed you her block, but I do want to read her card because she wrote a very nice card. She says, T, happy birthday, birth year sister. So we're both born in 1965, which makes us 21 years old. And she says, you are now the proud owner of my very first churn dash block. I kept it small so you can add to it if you need to. I also didn't want to chance messing it up if I added more to it. Haha. I hope you receive many blocks for your special quilt. I love the idea. I hope you have a safe, blessed, and memorable birthday, and many more to come. Stay cool and dry this summer. Your quilty friend, Tracy Ruth. So thank you, Tracy, for that. And the reason why I knew that it was in the envelope is because she replied to the email. This one here is a birthday card from a friend, so I'll hold on to it because I'm only reading this and sharing this because it's quilting related. So I'll just put that to the side. And then we're on number 12 for the birthday blocks. So let me write that on here because I just went to the post office today to pick these things up. And I only have 2 that I picked up from the post office. So we'll be quick with this. And this is from Beth Dallas. And she is from DeSoto, Illinois. All right, thank you. And she has her name embroidered in the block. I'm trying to look at these first so I don't sound really crazy when I hold them up and trying to read backwards. And she's got Southern Illinois on here. So, very pretty fabrics. And I like that she wasn't afraid to use a background with a high print. It still gives a lot of contrast in the block. I like that as well. So thank you so much, Beth. It's a beautiful block. And these are my blocks I've already received. Let me just put this down. Slide this over a little bit. Right there. And again, Beth is number 12. And I'm just holding envelopes right there for right now. And then number 13 is, well, I don't even know what's in this box. This is from Bonita out of North Carolina. And, well, don't want to show her address. And my, I have my, my box cutter in the room where I was working on the bookcase, opening those boxes, so I don't have the right equipment here. Don't know where else. Bonita, like me, we tape it up really good. And Bonita has already really sent me a gift in June that I recorded and haven't even put that video up yet. So thank you, Bonita. You're so generous. She's very generous. Still got one more piece of tape. Hold on, guys. I'm trying not to show her address. Okay, now we're close to getting this done. I'm going to flip this open wrong. Okay, so on top she says, "Hello, Miss T. I hope your birthday brings you many blessings. I have a fantabulous celebration. Oh, have a fantabulous celebration. 21 only comes once a year." All the best, Bonita. See, the thing about the 21 is if you're born in 1965 or whatever year you're born in, you just add those numbers together and that's your age forever. So that's why she says that. And somebody remembered me doing that. I had the shirt on in one of my previous videos. Wow. Wow. Okay. She's so sweet. She's got a happy birthday banner here. It's beautiful. I can't even show it. See that? And she's got the double P on there. That's pretty creative. Very nice. I love that. And all the different shapes. And I'm going to assume, and you can correct me, Bonita, did you use a go for this? A die cutting system, or did you cut all of this out yourself? But it's beautiful and I love it. This can be used for a lot of birthday celebrations. Thank you so much. Very nice gift. And I'm going to have to get those other videos, start editing. I've just been so busy. My main goal is I'm trying to find retreat center, and I'm having difficulty with trying to get something that's reasonably priced as well. And so then inside, let me just make sure. Yeah. She's got her block. She rolled it on something, which is pretty cool. So you definitely won't get any folds. I want to see it first. Oh my goodness. Very nice. She used the embroidery machine to put her first name, and then she wrote in her city and state. Very nice. And now I want to see what she rolled it on. So it's like a paper towel holder to keep it from getting wrinkled. And now let me show you these beautiful fabrics. And she elongated the turn dash. See, this right here is wider than it is on the sides. Very nice, Bonita. Thank you so much. That is really pretty. Love it. So a rectangular turn dash block. And she's number 12. Did I write that on the box? Let me make sure. No, she's number 13. Bonita, you're number 13. And I wrote it on the box. So, awesome, awesome. I got one quilting gift from a friend locally. It's from Sarah. And she says, "Teajuana, you bring something special to life, and on your birthday and always, you're wished all the joy your heart can hold." Then on the front it says, "Special person, special day. When you're around, you remind me that kindness makes a difference, laughter is good for the soul, and happiness is best when it's shared." And just a pretty card front there. And then she actually, we were at the quilt shop. We went to go to the retreat center. She went to one of them, or she went to a couple of them with me actually. And I was just shopping, buying my stuff. And I hadn't even realized that, you know, it was still close to my birthday. So she said, whatever you, after I had my stuff cut, she said, whatever your stuff is, I'm paying for it. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And I'm like, I got quite a bit because I'm looking for fabrics for my Millefori quilt, which I did start cutting some fabric for my first hexagon. So we'll see how long we work on that. But anyway, I thought that this fabric, because of the repeats, it was in the clearance section. And it was just $4 a yard. And I figured that I could fussy cut some of these areas and make them do some kaleidoscope things. It's not something that I would like. I love the coloring, but it's not something that I would have bought otherwise if I wasn't doing Millefori right now, because I don't need to buy any fabric. The next one also was in the clearance section, $4 a yard. I thought this pattern would be really good for doing Millefori, that I could fussy cut on these chains. So you all what these fabrics are, because somebody will ask me. This is Anna Davis by Blend, True Blue. And then let me just show you the salvage, because there's not much information down here. And then these numbers over here. So the numbers didn't look very clear. The numbers are 113.105.05, and it was copyrighted in 2014. Let me go back to this other one, because sometimes you can find old fabrics. If you Google, there's a website called quiltshops.com, and what it is a conglomerate of people that are in her host, and you search for a particular fabric by what's on the salvage, and if any of those stores have it, it will pull up every store that has it. This one is Terrain by Kate Spain for Moda, pattern number 27092. So let me just show you that salvage in case somebody's interested. Okay, so that's two. So I was on a roll with getting things for my Millefori quilt. So then I came across this stripe, and I thought, wow, I could really use, let me turn it this way. I could really use a lot on this stripe. And so the problem with the stripe is that you got to buy repeats, because since it's not like fabric in the other one like this one, where you've got the repeats, you just, you know, focus on this flower, and you can focus on that flower, and then this flower and that flower. On a stripe, you don't have that going across the width. You have it going across the length. So therefore, I had to buy 6 repeats of this. And so what I do, I never tell them how much yardage I want when I'm buying repeats. And this is kind of like for stack and whack. I will tell them I need 6 repeats. And so I just start unrolling the boat. And so I will take a spot, and then I will find it. And so that I have 6 of those. And then I tell them, okay, I want you to cut whatever yardage this is. And then they'll tell me, okay, we're at 4 1/8. And then I'll just say, give me 4 1/2. And that's what this actually came out to be, was 4 1/2. I'll show you the fabric, and then we'll talk about what it is on a salvage. I'm hoping you can see it, because I can't see anything. And then it has a different backside as well. On here, let me just show you what a repeat is, because somebody will ask me. So you see this green flower, you just picking a spot. So I will pick, say, this green. Well, let me pick something bigger, because in certain places it might be different. Yeah, because that green flower repeats. So you see this light color flower here, you have to be real careful about looking at repeats. This flower here, from here all the way down to here, is considered one repeat, and that's pretty long. That's about 20 inches or so. So therefore I had to buy at least 20 inches 6 times. And if you all don't know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about stack and whack, I got a whole series of videos and different fabrics that I've used that I have in my stash for stack and whack. So what I'm going to do is cut this up like I'm going to do stack and whack, and then I'm going to cut just strips, and then I'm going to cut my millefeuille pieces off of those strips. I'm not going to actually cut it into the actual stack and whack. This is called Social Club by the Cornstalks for Moda. And it's got a number 36091. That's on the end. So let me go back into the middle so I can make sure you see this when I hold it up. This should make an excellent stack and whack because it's got so many different things going on. I'm just going to toss it over. So that was also on the clearance rack. So that was $4 per yard. So then I was walking back trying to keep my binders on, and this beautiful piece of fabric caught my attention. This black with these very vibrant colors on it. I couldn't believe how vibrant the colors were. I've seen black with prints, of course, but for some reason this one was calling my name, and so this one was not on sale. It's one of those times I was buying fabric that wasn't on sale because I know I wasn't going to see it again. And it is 2 yards that I got. It cost $11.99 or $10.99. I can't remember. I think $11.99. It's Windham Fabrics presents Splotch by Whistler Studios. Pattern number 51158. And I'll show you that one as well. Right here. I'm trying to get you out of the light, but you can't see the number down here. Right there. Okay, so my friend bought all of that. So I appreciate that. I was totally surprised. I'm like, "Are you sure you want to just buy some of this and I'll buy the rest?" And she was like, "No, I got it." I'm like, "Okay, thank you so much." But that was a lot. So let me go back and see if anybody else is here. I see some people saying they were frozen. I'm still moving on my cell phone, so I'll keep going. I would have missed it all anyway, wouldn't I? Trying to make sure I haven't missed anyone. Okay, so Benita says that she cut that with a Cricut. Okay, awesome. That's pretty cool. I was thinking that it was die cut. I'm gonna ignore Eric and Debbie in the comment section. Oh, Eric says that he was told his rent was going up to 250, so he had to move. So that's where he's been. Okay, sorry you had to do that. I hate moving. I hate moving one room. My one room is making a mess, let alone a whole house. That's no fun at all. So Cricut Maker from Benita. And Pamela says, very nice, Benita. So that's pretty cool. Phyllis G is here. She says, hi, T and everyone. Francine says, that pink and green is beautiful, Benita. Cheryl Land says, moving is my favorite, but it does force me to get rid of things I should have years ago. That's true. I'm hoping that I can find some stuff I can get rid of. Deborah Williams is saying, very nice, Benita. Francine says, I love to be in the South somewhere. Rhonda says, wow, that banner is so nice. I had to think, wait, we are born in the same year. I'm 5 months your senior. That makes me 21 and a half. All right. Happy birthday. May you have many more. Thank you, Rhonda. Diane is telling me to use my mirror on one of those fabrics. I don't have my mirror in here, so I won't use it on there, but it's going to be fussy cut anyway, so I'm not necessarily going to cut it just randomly. I'm actually going to use particular places. And those would, and Diane was saying that that border stripe will also make good borders or sashing. Yeah, that's what they're normally used for, is more borders on quilts. But I'm going to be, border fabrics make great stacking wax. Eric and Francine were frozen, but hopefully everybody is back. Pamela says, I was buffering, but I refreshed and I'm okay now. Melinda C is here. Hi, Melinda. She says, hi, T. My computer keeps buffering. And I'm doing okay on my recording one, on my iPad, as well as my cell phone. So hopefully everybody is okay. Live on Wednesday, so if he comes on and our system goes haywire, we found out that the reason why I was having issues is because he was watching on the Roku, and that takes up so much more juice than regular internet usage on your phone, laptop, computer, or iPads. Trey Manor Young is here. She says, hello, T and T Quilters. Hope everyone is well. I'm interested in doing the nested churn dash, but I need the specs. The churn dash can be any size you like. I have a video on it about some suggestions on how to make a churn dash. It can be, but basically any size. I see a little buffering just came through on my screen, so you may be buffering. So yeah, but I do have a video up, and then my mailing address is in the bottom of any video, recent video. So if you just go to my channel, you don't have to go to the birthday video to find where to mail it. You can just look at the bottom of any video. So thanks for the question, Trey. And Pamela says she loving the black. And Bonita, I know you're drooling. She loves fabric more than I do. Bonita, I'll send you a half yard. I'll give you, I was planning on using it as a border. That's why I got 2 yards, and I was going to like do 6-inch strips. But I'll still send you one. I'll just put it on something smaller so you can have some. You've been so sweet. I have to send you some fabric. Debbie says, T, I'm so happy you conquered my fear of pantos. I can do it now. Yay! She's been stressed about that for a long time now. At least a year or two. Eric's trying to be nice and friendly. Doing good. Thank you. How are you doing? I can mess with Eric, guys. I've met him. Debbie says, whoop, whoop. Yeah, I'm buffering again. So it is a little bit of buffering. And okay, so I'm trying to give it a little bit so we can catch up to let everybody know that I'm back. So that's why I'm just waiting. And it looked like it popped in on my phone, so I can go ahead. You all would just be like a minute or so behind me with information. I just want to talk about retreat for 2020. I've talked with various retreat centers. I think I'm up to 4 now, and I've been talking to different ones, and some of them only will allow 8 people. Some of them will do 15. So and then part of that is that when I book and get a contract within 30 days, I'm going to need to have, some of them want up to 25%. So some of them want 15%, some of them wants 25% so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to go ahead and have people that are really interested in going to retreat, just send me a check for $25 as a deposit. And then I will deposit those into my Teaquilts business account. So when you write your checks out to Teaquilts. I'm looking at trying to get June, the third weekend in June, if I can. And June is going to be difficult because of people having weddings and stuff like that. So a lot of the facilities are booked out in June of next year. And so if you decide that because of the date that we end up with that you can't make it because we didn't get the third weekend in June, then I will most definitely be sending you your $25 deposit back. But what I need to do is have people that are really interested in doing a retreat next year or think you may be interested in doing it. I don't know any of the fees. I don't even know anything about it because I can't book anything until I know approximate, or really they want an exact number, because once I tell them an exact number, I'm obligated to pay the retreat for those people. So what I would like for people to do is to send me $25 deposit for your retreat so that I know how many people really want to go. And if you're doing that, you can just write a check out to Teaquilts, and again, you can mail those to my P.O. box. So if you could do that right away, before the end of August for sure, because I'm going to have to sign some kind of a contract with one of these places eventually, and I'm going to have the money to do that. And I don't want to tell them that 20 people are coming and really only 8 people are coming, because then I'm going to have to personally pay for 12 people, and I don't have money sitting around like that. So I just want to know who is really interested in retreat. If you really are interested in retreat, please follow through and send that. I will, and I'm asking for people to do checks so that way you've got proof you've paid it. And then like I said, I'm going to deposit everything into my business account. It's not going to go into a personal account. So write those checks out to Teaquilts and not me personally. So that way we know everything's on the up and up. And then if I have to send you your deposits back, I will most definitely do that. I'll either send it to you, your choice. I can send you a check back, I can send you through CashApp, or I can also send you back through PayPal. But once I sign that contract, then that $25 is no longer refundable, because at that point we'll know what the dates are and we'll know the total cost. If you say you can't do it at that point, then I'll go ahead and send you your $25 back before I sign the contract. But once I sign the contract, then that $25 deposit is non-refundable. And then we'll talk about what we really need for a real deposit. I'm just doing a $25 to do a head count. And then hopefully some of you really will show up. I would like to meet more of you Teaquilters. It's going to be in the St. Louis metropolitan area, and that means that we could be retreating in some parts of Illinois, because St. Louis is really close to Illinois as well. Matter of fact, most of the retreat centers are in Illinois, so it could be a possibility that we're actually meeting in Illinois. But I want to stay in the St. Louis metro area so that we can go to quilt shops and do things in the local area. So if you got any questions about that, please don't hesitate to ask. You can always email me if you don't want to put it into a comment at teaquilts@teaquilts.com. So my email is teaquilts on my shirt at teaquilts.com. We got Francesca here. She says, hi, T, everyone. Francesca is also in the Scrap Quilting Club. And I see what Diane 57 says, depends on where it is. Some retreat centers, like I said, all of them have so many different things going on. Some retreat centers, if you're wanting to have a room by yourself, that's not an option. But those are the ones that are for the smaller group. So if I get a group of 20, then we can go to a place where we can do 2 to a room, and that could be you and or a spouse. So, and I think even one of them will have it where you can do 3 to a room, but one person would be sleeping on a bunk bed. So one place we just went to has 2, I want to say queen, maybe full beds. I think they were queens, but I'm just going to say full. And then they also had a set of bunk beds. So you could go 3 or 4 in a room, but most adults do not sleep on the top of a bunk. So, yeah, so there's different prices for different things. And it's hard for them to give me a price because I don't know what kind of room configurations I need. So that's going to be the problem. And then, like I said, if I have to pick a place that's smaller because I don't have enough people, then you have the option at that point of getting your $25 back, because I haven't signed the contract yet. Because I'll let you all know through another video where we're going, as far as I'm not going to put out like major stuff to the main out in the public of where we're going to be at a particular time, but I will tell you what type of place we're going to and how the sleeping arrangements are done, so that way you will know whether or not you want to attend or not. Some of them are new retreat centers, but they have like 5 to a room. And it handles about up to 10 people. It just depends on where we're going and what we're looking for. And I'm trying to look for a place where whatever number of people that we have, you can have a table by yourself. So that's my main goal. So let's see. Let's see. That was, Diane said, depends on where it is. Francesca says, where is the retreat? In the St. Louis metro area. What area are you looking in? St. Louis metropolitan area. It could be anywhere from cities like St. Peter's, O'Fallon, all the way into Staunton, Illinois, Columbia, Illinois. We got so many different communities. Are we close to a major airport? St. Louis has its own airport. So, yes. And, you know, once we get closer to that, I don't know if I'll be able to pick everybody up, but we can talk about how people can get to and from the airport as well. Again, the question is, when are you thinking? I'm trying for the 3rd week in June. Eric says, any pinball machines, not unless you go to the game room. Dave and Buster's. And Diane says, no bunk here. I know. Each room has 2 beds, and then it has that 3rd person that if you wanted 3 people in a room, that it could have a bunk bed. Bianca Duncan said, Quilt says, hello. Hi, Bianca. Welcome to live chat. Debbie Huey says, oh, she's talking to Eric. And Francesca says, can you give a range for cost? No, I can't. Not at this time, because I can't get them to give me a cost because they don't know how many people I have and how long we're going to be there. I did tell them, because I'm looking for more than just Teaquilts as well. I'm looking for my small group, as well as presenting some information to our larger quilt guild as well. The problem is that you have to go online and book, and then they'll send your contract to their employee, who then works your numbers. So, but when they work those numbers, whatever number I give them, that's what the contract's going to be, and that's going to be the price. And once that's done, it's set in stone. So I have no way of knowing. So that's why I'm trying to get numerous organizations, but I need to have a number count, because all of those organizations want to know exactly how many people. And I'm just randomly saying maybe 20 quilters. But if I can't get 20 quilters, then I may have to go to a facility that can do it for a smaller number. Now, last time we were at a facility that had for 8 people, and we all slept in one room, and we had 2 full baths. And then we had a sewing area that everybody had their own table. And so, you know, it was tight. It wasn't as bad with the sleeping arrangements as I anticipated. Shakita was there. She's here on the live. Not Shakita. Yeah. Was it Shakita? No. I'm blocking. I'm blocking names right now. But we had people in there, and it wasn't as bad as we thought. And us 8 thought that we would most definitely would do it again with the 8 that we had. So most times you with quilters, you're okay. But if you're talking about traveling with a spouse or something, then you're going to most definitely need to be somewhere where you can just have one room. They did have rooms that have king beds that even had suites and stuff like that. So you had like a sitting area as well as your king beds, and then the baths in those were a little bit bigger as well. So it just depends on who's coming and yeah, what we're going to do. So I can't give any range for cost. I went to a place yesterday that I really liked, and I was trying to get the guy to give me a price, and he's saying that he really can't give a price. He gave me an estimate. He said he gave me like an estimate of $250 for 2 nights for say 8 people. But, you know, I'm looking at 5 nights, because if you're coming and traveling, I don't want you to do just a quick weekend turnaround. So that way we got some opportunity to really get to know each other. I felt like the 5 days were great when we had it in the Hamilton area. And St. Louis has, or the area has, quite a few quilt shops as well. So, yeah. Elaine says, okay, I hope to be there. Okay, great. And like I said, right now I'm just trying to get a head count. So you're not like set in stone. I know if it changes off of that 3rd weekend in June, I understand some people may not be able to make it. But I'm hoping, but I can't even get that date because I would have to pay for it to keep it. So Diane 57 says we would have to drive. Okay. So she's saying that they would have to drive from Texas. And Cachette says, no, Kay, I'm thinking that's Kathy, Karen, something like that. Says T, coming in late, where is this retreat going to be? And Eric is answering her with my iPad just popped up and asked me for ID verification and just stopped everything. But it will be in the St. Louis metropolitan area. And like I said, that could be Illinois, because a lot of our retreat centers are in Illinois. The last place I do have to check is I wanted to check one of the Marriott hotels and see what their rates would be. So that's the next thing I'm going to do. And Pamela says, quilt shops, that's important. Yes, it is. And like when we did the Hamilton retreat, we took 2 days to do shop hops. We went north on one day and then went south on the other day. So we drive out, say, up to an hour and a half away, and then we work our way back, and we just spend the day out. You have lunch out, and then we come back and figure out what we're going to do for dinner. Some places have where the meals are included, and other places have it where you have to bring your own food. So it just depends on your number and where we're going to be. So all of that is like up in the air. I can't give any major information until I get some kind of head count. Eric says, stupid question. How do you pack a sewing machine to take on the plane? I have a friend that has his featherweight, and he says he's most definitely does his machine in a carry-on bag, and then that way he can control it being tossed around. So you most definitely want to find a carry-on bag and then make sure your machine will fit in that bag. So that would be my suggestion. If you've got a large machine, then you may want to think about something else. Now, I do have a few machines. I haven't decided if I'm going to be loaning those out or not, but it's a possibility that I might like maybe rent them out so that like it will cover wear and tear as far as if I have to get them serviced. But again, we'll get closer to that as we need to, and it will be like some nominal fee. It won't be ridiculous, but just to pay for the needles and just if I have to get, you know, a cleaning or something like that. But it won't be like to enough that you're paying all of that yourself. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if I got machines, I just want to make sure that you've got the right needles and supplies that you need for that machine. So just in case, it would be a nominal fee. And I've got, I got a few machines. um, but if you got a small machine or you're driving, then I would recommend that you bring your own sewing machine. Nothing is better than sewing on your own sewing machine. Deborah says, I'm buffering bad. It's like watching a King Kong movie. Eric says, I need a featherweight. And that's what my friend who travels, he travels with his featherweight. He has a lot of old machines. That's Kevin the quilter. I did his studio tour. Talking about, well, I guess bringing the long arm is out. Yes. I'm not even bringing mine, okay? Trying to make sure I answer everybody's questions. So it looked like that is it for that part. I know we had, it's 7:52. We only got 8 more minutes. But I'm going to stay on just a little bit longer because I want to talk about quilting threads. And if you got any more questions about retreat, you can email me at teaquilts@teaquilts.com. You can also put them down in the chat and I'll look back in there again. But just in case we end because the system throws us out, we'll be okay. So I just want to quickly talk about threads. There is no correct thread to sew with. It's whatever you prefer and whatever your money budget is. Okay, so I just want to talk about your basic threads first. I started quilting and I didn't start quilting. I started sewing with dressmaking. So when I was doing dressmaking, I had my sewing machine, which was an old Kenmore, metal Kenmore, and I also had a serger. And when you did the serger, you needed 4 spools of thread. The one that I had when I started in 1986 is when I started sewing clothing. And so basically the only threads you had at your local stores, we had stores like Cloth World, which is now called Joann's for those that don't know. And then we had a store called Sofro Fabrics. And then we had Hancock's. So we had those 3 stores that we could go to choose from. The supplies that they had in those stores were your Coats and Clark thread, your dual duty threads, which is polyester with with cotton on top. So they call it mercerized thread. But this thread is 100% polyester. Okay? It's just got a covering on it. And I think I have no idea why they put it's called mercerized cotton, but then it says it's polyester. So 37% cotton, 63% polyester. Threads are fine. They're fine for quilt making as well. If they're fine for clothing and can hold up a seam, especially a pant seam, inseam when you have to sit, then of course you can use this thread. I think sometimes Coats and Clark's thread gets a bad rap. I've never had any major problems with it. It's just that it's a thicker thread. Let's see what the weight is on here, if it says it. You know, they have the things on the end caps, and then you take it off one end and you don't have it. It doesn't say what size it is, or I can't see it on my end caps. So I don't know what size it is. But it is a lot thicker than if you're winding your bobbin with this kind of thread. Then you're most definitely going to have to wind or use more bobbins than would be necessary if you use some of the actual newer updated threads that have come out into the market. But are these threads fine if this is what suits your budget? If you're at Joann's, that's all you can get to. They have sales on this stuff all the time. This is the old style spool, and I'm missing the label on this side because it's been used, and when you punch through to put it on your machine, that part will sometimes come up. Just for some reason, it's still sticking on this one side. This is how it looks now. They've changed how they house the thread, and it's saying on here that this is 100% polyester now. It's still, I'm trying to look at it, it still doesn't tell you like what size it is. Not at all. Just 100% polyester. So either of those threads will be fine for machine piecing, machine quilting as well. So this thread was all that was available at one time. So, or this type of thread, not necessarily from just this one company, because you've got different companies that were producing thread. But this thread is fine. It will still be fine today. I have a friend who loves to use Gutermann thread, and it's 100% polyester. I want to find the name so I can put it up there for you. Gutermann. And down here it says 100% polyester. Okay, so she swears by this thread. Now, of course, she doesn't have any issue with, some people don't like to sew with polyester thread because they think it will melt when they're pressing their seams. Not this thread. There are certain machine quilting threads that are 100% polyester from Superior Thread. That's the rainbow line. Those will most definitely, they will, when you heat it, it's going to melt away. So your stitches are just gone, just vanished into air. So you do have to be cautious. And if you're concerned about using 100% polyester thread, just go ahead and stitch some lines on some scraps and then just go press it with your iron so that you can test it out. Another thread, and I'm not sure what company put this out because all of my spools are open, but I started buying these in place of this, and I almost think of the Coats and Clark Dual Duty, and I almost think it's very similar to that, and I don't know if the same company actually put this out. All of my packaging are off all of the ones I have, so I have no idea who put this thread out. But I liked it because they were bigger spools and they would last so much longer, especially when you were using a serger. So I would just buy, like when I have my serger, you'd need up to 4 spools of one thread. So I'd buy 2 of these for my outsides, and then I'd buy 2 of this size for my needles, because you have 2 needles and 2 loopers, an upper looper and a lower looper. So this is good too, and I still use this thread for machine quilting if it's the right match, because it was a lot more, I have a lot more of this than I did of my machine quilting thread. Now what I actually piece with is a thread called Masterpiece by Superior Threads, and I think it's by Alex Anderson through Superior, or she was the one that came out with this combination. And I like to buy the big spools because it's more economical in price when you're actually spending your money for thread. You know you're going to need a lot of thread. So I tend to now buy bigger spools, and then I just use a thread stand to put it on. And let me give you the ply on this. This is number 50, and it's a 3-ply thread. And this color right here is called Bisque, number 152, 2,500 yards. So let me just open it up, and I don't know any prices on any of this stuff. So this is a new spool. I can't even find where it starts. I don't want to mess it up. So here's my thread. It's a number 50 3-ply, and then let me hold, say, this Coats and Clark up next to it, one of the newer ones. So the Coats and Clark is on top, and they look about, well, the Coats and Clark even looks thinner than this, than the Masterpiece, just by looking at it. So they're both very good threads. And while I'm just thinking about threads, if you want to know if your thread is bad or not, just pull your thread. It shouldn't break when you do this. If your thread is breaking when you do this, your thread is dry rotted and you don't want to quilt with it or sew with it. Just another tip. And then I'll just put this one back up. So this is what I use on top. And I recommend that you get a thread stand for it. Now, I just brought this in here because this is a metal base. And I used the metal, I wanted you to see it because there are some in the stores that they will sell you that are a plastic base. And you do not want to get the plastic base. If you get the plastic base, this thing is going to be walking across your sewing machine table as you're sewing from the vibration. And then it just holds the spool of thread a lot better when it's on a metal base. It just gives it something to ground it on. Another tip that I've done when I have it on my Sew Easy table, since it's a smaller table, I got a piece of hook and loop tape, and I have one end of it on here and the other piece is on my table. So when I put this on my table, I don't have to worry about accidentally knocking it off, and I use that when I'm at retreat. So, but yeah, so I just like to have a metal stand on for my big cones. And another brand of thread. Oh, I just wanted to tell you also that Masterpiece, I bought this little Try Me sampler box. And then it had 5 spools in it, various different colors. And that's because I still have so much coats and clock thread that I didn't want to, like, I'm trying to use them all up instead of pitch them. And so when I start switching over to the colors, I just wanted a small box just for me to sample the colors as well. Then when you talk about bobbins, remember I told you if you're winding with the coats thread that they're pretty thick. And so what I do is I wound my bobbins with Orfeel, and I don't use pre-wound bobbins when I quilt. I'm sure you probably could. I use pre-wound bobbins when I do machine embroidery because most of them are polyester based, some kind of polyester in it. And I like that for my machine embroidery, but I don't necessarily want it for my quilt making. So I tend to wind my own. This Orfeel is a 50 weight. It's a 2-ply thread. So let's open this so I can see if it's any different than the Masterpiece. So it's a little bit thinner, so that means that I can get more thread on my bobbin, so I'm changing my bobbins less. A noticeable difference in that when I change to winding my bobbins on Orfeel. Now, a lot of people also use this same thread for piecing on the top as well. I just found for some reason my machine didn't like pulling off on this spool. And so I didn't use this on my actual sewing machine because it just, when I was doing regular piecing, my thread would always come off and get caught on this piece here. So that's why I didn't do it. Be thinner than the Masterpiece thread. Okay, so we got Orfeel on top right here. And you can barely see, I can see the difference here. I'm not sure if it's showing up on the screen though. But I can see the difference in the 2-ply and the 3-ply. This one's much thinner on top. And that makes it so that you can get a lot more thread on that bobbin. Now y'all know that I was getting ready for this like 10 minutes before it was time for me to come on because I've been working in my room, right? So I gotta go get the quilting thread. I'll be right back. All right, but I knew these were in the room, so they weren't quite the crisis as some of the other ones. Okay, so there are so many different brands of long arm quilting thread that comes on the big spools. The only thing I personally wouldn't use is serger thread, like Maxi Lock on my long arm. Now, there are some people that use Maxi Lock with no problems in their long arm. I've never tried it, and I don't have any intentions of trying it. It's just something that I wouldn't do. What I mostly use on my long arm is Permacore, which is from some kind of American and Ifrit, I think, a sewing company. This thread has been out. This was like one of the first threads that came out for long arm use. You can see that it's 100% cotton. A lot of people are now switching over to other threads because they say that it is very linty for them. But I don't mind cleaning out my area. I clean out my bobbin area of the sewing machine like every other pass. So I don't really have any problems with it. The one thing I don't do, which a lot of people do, is that they use the same thread in the top and the bottom. Now, if you're using it in the same top and bottom, the same thread, then yes, you're going to have a whole lot more lint, and you probably may not like it or have to clean out after every pass on your long arm. So yeah, but a lot of quilters use the same thread in the top and bottom. I use the same thread color in top and bottom. It may not be the same thread, but let's just say that I had this purple, so they don't completely match, but when it's quilted in, it's not going to be that much of a difference. So that's what I use in the top of my sewing machine. Now you can also use like signature thread, which is good. You've got I'm blocking the name of Superior's thread because I have some of it too. I'm blocking the name of it. I'll come back. If one of you know it, put it in the comments. You've got YLI has thread. It's a polished poly. It's a 2-ply tribal polyester, 40 weight. So that's a thread that can be used. It's not going to be as linty as this because it's a tri-poly. And then you also have, how come the name isn't on this one? I'm blocking the name of it. Glide. Here it is. Glide thread. And Glide, I think, is 100% polyester. Yes, it's 100% polyester. And I'm trying to see if it has the weight on it. Hold on. I can see up close. Can't see anything far away. It says number 40, so I'm going to assume that it's a 40 weight. But a lot of people have gone to Glide thread because they don't want to deal with all of the fuzz you get when you're using 100% cotton. My Gamble machine loves this thread. I love this thread. I have purchased other threads, these two, so that I can test them out. I have probably 2 or 3 spools of this YLI I haven't used yet because I don't have the right color to use it yet. And then also the Glide thread, I've got like 2 or 3 colors and I haven't had the right colors to use it. So I may have to end up just doing some test sewing and putting these threads on. It's real hard when you get your machine tension just right to go and experiment with threads because you always have to change that tension, and then it's hard to get back to tweak that sweet spot in your tension. So that's why I tend to use the same threads all the time. Now I have used variegated threads by YLI as well, or King Tut threads that are variegated by Superior, and those take a whole lot more work to get those to work. And sometimes if you got a bad quality backing, those don't stitch out very well. You'll have bad tension on your back. Now what I do is I stitch my needle with permacore, and then I use bottom line thread in the bobbin, and I got my machine tweaked just right for this. And then that way I can wind more thread on my bobbin so I don't have to change out as many bobbins as if I was using the same thread in the bobbin and the top. This is 100% polyester. It's by Libby Lehman. It's 60 weight, lint-free polyester, 3,000 yards. And this is what I mostly use in the bobbins. Now, let's say that I was working on a quilt that was a lot of colors and I didn't know what I want to put on the bobbin. They have like a dark gray and a light gray. I tend to just go for the grays if I have a lot of colors and don't know what to put on the back of a quilt. Even if I may use, say, a tan on the front, I still might use a light gray if I don't have the right color. Say I didn't have this purple, then instead of putting this in the bobbin, I still wouldn't put this in the bobbin. I would go ahead and use maybe the darker gray because it'll start to blend with this on the back. Just long as your tension is sweet, it won't show really bad on the back. And when you release it off of the machine, once it starts to puff back up, those threads are going to go where they meet up. They're going to go into the quilt sandwich, so you won't see it. But this is what I actually use to quilt with. And I know that there are at least 2 long-arm quilters on here, because Debbie and Eric are also long-arm quilters. And thinking of Debbie, she had told me and Eric about connecting thread. So we also purchased some, and I just haven't had a chance to use it yet. But she's a firm believer of using the connecting threads, essential threads, and she buys it by the big spools, and she says that's a money saver for her as well. And you can use that in piecing and quilting as well. So let me go back now. I've had quite a bit of comments. Bianca says, can you do another long arm quilting video, please? I'm getting a gammo next month. I never used a long arm before. I have watched most of your gammo videos. Very useful. Thank you. I should be having just some basic machine quilting things coming up on my gammo. I do plan to record me loading using my leader grips system and showing you how I actually float my quilt top. And congratulations as well on getting a gammo. That's an exciting thing. I got a girlfriend that's getting one. Oh, she got one this weekend. I need to call her. My days are running into each other. Oh, I also had Scrap Quilting Club meeting on Saturday. That's another reason I was busy. But it's fun to get your first long arm machine, no matter what brand it is. Shakita says, quilt label, need recommendations for a good pen. I had a pen, but I don't know where they are right now. I have one up here. I don't normally keep my quilting pens in this room because I don't do any writing in here. But I brought one up because I was writing on the birthday blocks for the people that forgot to put their name on it. To me, this is one of my favorite pens for writing on fabric. I haven't had any problems with them. I like the 05. That's because that's one that I feel like I can really see the writing on it. I'll just write 05 on this piece of paper. Right. This is the weight of that 05. This pen, all kinds of sizes, like all the way down to like 002, which is your small, and it goes up. You can get a package of these from like Amazon in different sizes, or you can get a package of the same size. They have some of them that come in the same size, but this is by Pigma Micron. So the Pigma is really small, right there in that purple. I know it's going to be hard to see because of but it's so small it won't even focus in on that. But up at the top, that purple over Micron is Pigma Micron, and the weight is 05. So just Google that on Amazon. When I first found these, they were actually in my local art supply stores, but they are for fabric and they last, and they have them even in color if you want. Let's see. Diane was saying that it it's poly wrapped, looks like 40 weight. I think that was the Coats and Clark that didn't have a label on it. Eric says, I like Coats and Clark thread. Don't know why it gets a bad rap. It really does get a bad rap, but I'm like, I made so many clothes with Coats and Clark. If it was a bad thread, I would have known it a long time ago. Quilt Girl is here. She says it's Coats and Clark cotton thread. It's actually mercerized cotton, which means it's a polyester thread. The inside is polyester, and then it has a cotton wrapping on the outside. Eric says, I write the thread info on a mailing label and put the label inside the cone. Now, that's a good idea. Diane says she loves Superior thread. Pamela says, I had a lot of Coats and Clark when I was only doing garment sewing. I certainly wasn't going to stop using it when I started quilting. Eric says, T, do you use some of these threads for your long arm only, or do you just use it for whatever? I use, so all of the other threads that I showed you, this is the thread that I will use on my long arm, and I think it's like some company or even Coats and Clark came out with a subsidiary that made this thread, because it's very similar to Coats and Clark's thread. So I started buying these bigger spools, and since I had these, I've been using these up on my long arm, so they work very well. And then I mostly use Permacore and Bottom Line. I don't use Masterpiece or these other Coats and Clark threads or Orfeel in my machine. And these two, I told you that I have to practice with these. I haven't used them yet, and that's because it's so hard when you are when you first of all, tension on a sewing machine when you're quilting, especially on a long arm, when you finally find that sweet spot, you don't really want to mess it up for anything else. But I'm trying to be open-minded and trying to see if it might be a possibility of someday I might switch over my threads. So I got so much Permacore, though, it's going to take me a long time to get rid of it. And that's the hard part, because I'm not into throwing my money away. So I do need to practice on these threads just to see if I do like them. But for right now, these are my two Permacore top, this in the bottom. And the funny thing is, when I put that Coats and Clark piece in, these spools like this, it reacts just like this Permacore. I don't have to make any adjustments. So I don't use the other ones on my long arm. Now Debbie uses the connecting threads also on her long arm. I just want to throw out what I know people do. Okay, I'm trying to make sure. Thanks, June. She says she likes the blocks that are showing. But those are from Beth and Bonita. Just so you all know who they're from, those that came in late. Quilt Gal says, Superior Thread sells a fantastic thread stand that solves a lot of thread problems. I have heard of that, but I don't know if you're using it on your regular sewing machine, but I don't quilt at all on my regular sewing machine. And I know they had something that if you had one of the little small, like, if you were using like the gold threads, stuff like that, then it helped with the twist on those type of threads. And then those small spools, I know it works with those, but I haven't personally used one. Remo JS says, my machine didn't like the Missouri Star thread, burned my machine. And I have not tried Missouri Star's thread. The only thread that I stopped using was invisible thread, and I'm hoping that by now, because that's been years ago, and I haven't used invisible thread in probably 20 years. But I took my machine in once to get it serviced, and the invisible thread was wrapped around the tension, and it was like cutting into my tension guide that was underneath the machine. So my repair person pulled it all out for me to show me why my machine was constantly breaking thread. So the old style of invisible thread could cut into your tension area on your sewing machine. Like when you're threading through the track, you're actually going through tension, a tension disc, and then it was like eating it up. So I stopped using it a long time ago, and I haven't had really a need to use it. I just go ahead and let my thread show, or try to match it as close as I can. Shut up, Eric. You talking about, I remember you buying that YLI thread in Houston. Well, that's not bad. It's not even a year old yet. And it's still in the wrapper. Yes, it is. Permacore is Polycore 40 weight. Dewana Montreal says, pass your thread through wax. I do that if I'm hand quilting with it, or hand like applique, or doing any kind of hand stitching. I do that. My bindings, hand applique, the hexagon quilts where you're sewing by hand, I do run it through beeswax. Trying to make sure I get everybody's comments. Francine says, I've noticed that too. With the gray colors of thread, it tends to blend in a lot with the colors. Yes, and it sounds really strange when I tell you that. And there's even a beige thread that I use. And then there's also another blue one that I use, but I can't remember the numbers of them that I use when it's a lot of colors that also blend well if you want to see some color, but you don't want it to overtake. So, and then Remo says connecting threads is good. Diane says I use Perma Pen. She used Perma Pen for a fabric marking pen, Shakita. Francine says, I like the micron pens. Good to get it when you get the coupons from Joann's. Cherise says, I'm late, busy summer. Hello, everyone. Hi, Cherise. Eric says, I'm still looking for my sweet spot thread on my long arm. Yeah, and it takes a minute. And when you get it, it's like you don't even want to think about putting another thread in there. June says, I use Signature too, and I can use whatever in bobbins. And even when I switch to Signature thread, those threads all operate just like this line over here with this bottom line thread, and I don't have to make any adjustments. Linda Jenkins is here. She says, I just found you tonight. Welcome, Linda Jenkins. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bells. I mostly am live on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then sometimes I might just pop in, like Sunday, I popped in on my birthday and did a live. So you just never know. I'm kind of backed up on my regular video uploads, but I'm hoping that once I get my room back in order, which who knows when that's going to be, that we'll get back to doing some uploads. So maybe I'll try to make myself edit a video tomorrow, and then while I'm working on my room over the weekend, because I have issues with my internet right now, and I can start trying to work on getting one produced, and then the hours it takes for it to get uploaded. When I upload, say, a 15-20 minute video, it can take me 6 to 8 hours to get that video to upload on YouTube. So it just takes a while. What else? We've got Nancy McKnight. She says, hi, everyone. Welcome, Nancy, to the live chat. We've got, I think I skipped. Let me see. June Hansen says Signature on top. Bianca says, sorry, I got disconnected. I am back. She says, can you show your gamel? Do you still love it? My gamel is, the machine is all the way down there. And because I brought stuff in here from my room, I can't like roll it down today. Normally I could. And I got a quilt on there that I had a spot where I was hand sewing the binding on a quilt that I made for myself, that I quilted for myself. And I missed like 6 inches in the border, so I have it like stuck on there too. Like it's not really pinned on there the whole way, so it's stopping the machine from coming down. But I'll see what I can do. Hold on, because I think I'm going to be ending in a minute. So welcome again to Nancy. And hit that notification bell, guys. If you're subscribed and you don't know when I go live, make sure you hit the notification bell. June Hansen says, I found that with the gray thread as well. So a lot of people like the grays. Cherie says, yellow blends well too with warm colors. Great information. And Diane says, there is also a silicone treatment you can use like a conditioner for your thread. It's called Sew Something, Sew Mate, maybe. I can't remember. But I used to use that long time ago, but I haven't had to use that with my gamel. All my stuff just goes right through. Once I got that tension right, I don't have any problems. And then Diane says, no longer I'm here, but my machine loves all threads. Yes. So, I am going to go ahead. My gamel is all the way down there, guys. I've got a mess everywhere because I pulled stuff out of my room. So, let me see if I can go show this gamel. I also had to get a new microwave. My microwave crashed. I got that box sitting here for trash Friday morning. I didn't want to tear it down too fast in the event that I had to take the microwave back to the store. So, yeah. Let me see if I can figure out how to turn this. I'm right in front of the gamel. So, here is my gamel. It's actually the Vision. Whoops. It's the Vision 2.0, and as you can see, I'm using some gray thread. I use gray thread to quilt this quilt that I've kind of got haphazardly on this frame. Just I was trying to quilt. And you see how that gray blends in on all that color? And then that's the gray in the black and white. And then you can see the gray and the blue again. So that's all the quilting with that gray thread with all those colors. If I had picked a color, it would have kind of overtaken when it got into the border area. And this is where I had like 6 inches that I hadn't quilted in the border. I don't know how that even happened. But here's the long arm. Vision 2.0. It has a Samsung tablet. It's just a low base tablet it runs other stuff, but you can't just put any tablet on here to run the software. Okay, so there's something that Gamble has going on with Samsung so that your machine will be running off that tablet. Notice there are some people that says, I can't even point to show you where I'm trying to point to because I can't. But you see that cord right there? I can't get there because my arm won't reach. That's the power that plugs into the tablet to charge it. When I have my machine off, I always make sure that I unplug the power from that tablet because some people said that their tablets were swelling after about 3 to 5 years. I've had my machine 4 years now. I bought it in, no, 3 years. I bought it in January of 2016. So just basic Gamble. You can see on the other side where I was using that spool of thread to wind a bobbin. I was doing something special. And I just set that smaller spool of thread, that's that Coast and Clark type thread. I set it on top of that spool, the big spool, just to hold it up there. I was doing something special. I don't normally do that, and I had to tweak my tension, and I didn't like it, and it took me a while to get that tension back to where it was in that sweet spot again. While we're over here, I'll go ahead and show you my thread storage. I've shown you this in my Quilt Studio Part 2 video, but I'll show it to you again. So I just have this shelving unit that I got from a friend that was not needing it anymore. So I put some plastic over it so that my thread wouldn't get dusty. And just recently, I ran out of space for the thread up there because I bought some thread on Facebook Marketplace. And then I also had a friend that was selling her quilting stuff, so I bought some of her thread. So this cart now has 2 levels of thread, and I just put those there within the past month. That was not there before. I do have some variegated thread there. And then I just throw in some of the newer threads that I haven't used yet or in this case here. So don't judge me for my messy stuff. The thread up there is the connecting threads thread, I think. No, that's the thread we got, Debbie and I got from Marshall's Dry Goods. We do have some, I have some connecting threads somewhere. I'm not sure. I may have those in a drawer. These are, I have just one color out. So if I got like, especially bottom line, I might order 2 or 3 spools of the same. I store those in a drawer. It's messy, guys. In one of those drawers over there is where I store the connecting threads. My bottom line thread, my multiple colors. So I got a lot of mess. I'm having avalanches. So I'm just working, trying to get this stuff straight. And it started with, and I was starting with doing my room, because that's the big problem, is that I had bad storage in my studio with that entertainment center. So now I have a bookcase in there. I'm hoping that that works. So I have not been able to read any comments. So let me just go back through, because we're going to be ending pretty soon. We've now been on here a total of an hour and a half, although we had about 10 minutes of dead space for sure. With my system, it just shut down. My internet shut down and just rebooted itself. So I'm just surprised. Yes, so she's saying that system that they get from Superior Threads, as Diane says, she uses it with metallic thread. Yes. And Bianca says, OMG, thank you for going out of your way. You're welcome. And I do have like a playlist on all things related to the gamel, because I've quilted on the gamel quite a few videos. So I don't know if you saw my whole playlist. So if you go to Teaquilts homepage and then click on playlist, it'll give you all of my playlists. And I should have one where it says something about real life quilting on the gamel or long arm, something like that. Quilting in action on the long arm or something like that. And Diane says, shh, don't say that in front of a microwave. It's okay, Mikey. She didn't mean you. Yeah, microwaves and stuff don't last like it used to last. Cherie says, no mess. It's called progress. Funny, my microwave crashed too. Things always happen when I'm dry on cash. Conspiracy, yes. And then my husband comes up and tells me that, you know, the dryer, we need a new dryer. I said, really? It's making all kind of noise. You cannot like dry load the clothes and go to bed because you hear it all through the ductwork. It's a mess. Maria says, I wanted a long go on 15 years ago, but decided but I would buy lots of fabric and let someone else quilt for me. And 15 years ago, that was really a great idea. It's just that recently the cost of long arming is just getting higher and higher, to the point where they're even charging you for loading your quilts. They're charging you for thread usage, charging you for a needle. And, you know, it can be very costly. And that's why I bought my own long arm, because I was paying people $200 to $300 for the style of quilting that I wanted on my quilt. And I just said, you know, I have a lot of quilt tops. I'll just buy my own machine. And that's what I did. And I don't charge people for needle threads and loading. I just charge you one flat rate. And then I will charge if you want like variegated threads, because I got to mess with my tension. And then the variegated threads cost so much more money. And I charge if people want me to square up their quilts afterwards, add binding to their quilts, that kind of stuff. But for us basic quilting, I just charge one price. Diane says, T, is called a creative mind. I've had an avalanche. I videotape on my long arm table. So then when I'm videotaping and then I'm showing you all stuff, and then I don't necessarily get it all put up because something else happens, and then I go leave and then I do something else. It's a mess. But right now I'm trying to fix it right now. Bianca says, you are a sweetheart. Thank you for showing your machine. You're welcome. No problem. And Diane says, if everything is too neat and tidy, it scares me. Cleaning is so boring. Yes, cleaning and rearranging is boring. I hate it. So I'm hoping that I'll be better though. Bianca says, I've seen them all. Okay. All right. She's been watching my videos. Okay. Claudette Bettis is here. She's the one I was trying to tell you all that came to the retreat last year, 2018's retreat. And we had a good time. It was a room for 8 people to sleep, but it ended up not really being a big problem. All of us were pretty compatible. So, yeah. And Maria says, good night to everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. We've been on here for a while. I know we had some dead space. I'll try to see if I can take it out of the upload if I can. Sometimes YouTube Studio will let me do some things, and sometimes it won't. But thank you all so much for watching. Come back next week and see me. And I don't have any idea what we're going to be talking about next week. See you all. Good night, everybody. Happy quilting. Just trying to make sure nobody else has said anything. We got Naku just come in, says hi. And so we are just going to go ahead and end the upload for this video. If you missed parts of it, will be up shortly. Good night, everybody.